The stockinette stitch made for 0 age is a simple girl's vest. We will do this as a boy's vest with blue color. We start this from the back side first. We'll start 64 stitches. After we finish the length, we will not make a cut in the armpit place. We will do straight knitting. Then we will go forward from the shoulder. We'll cut the back collar from the middle. The needlework will only be at the sides. Now we use child wool and the number 4 knitting needle, and we will knit 64 stitches. Yes, we made the stitches and tied the tip of our rope. Now we will make straight knitting on both sides. We will do it as stockinette stitch. Of course, some of our viewers are doing the stockinette stitch inversely by knitting from the front side, but we do it straight knitting from sides. I started as 64 stitches. After knitting 10 of these stitches from the edges, I will make 11th stitch. Yes, so they all continue as straight. We started with 64 stitches for this boy vest, which we made stockinette stitch. We knitted 10 stitches from the edges and then put a reverse stitch to create the line band. We make reverse knitting on the straight side as we did in our previous knitting, and we make this line by knitting the knitting on the back side. We knitted 67 rows stockinette stitch back of the vest. After this, we separated 21 stitches from shoulder over here. We finished one part of the vest here, which will have the buttons because it will be seen from the other side. We keep our reverse stitch till here coming from the back side of the vest. Since the buttonhole on the front side will go down in our button band, we always knitted these 21 stitches by turning 22 rows without passing to the other side, we mean neck side. After completing 22 rows of stockinette stitches, we increased this band by 1 stitch from the edge of the reverse band, and we carried the increased stitches all the way to the edge of the separation band. We increased 16 stitches from here. After increasing 16 stitches, we had 37 stitches here. And after 37 stitches, we went straight down. We finished this in the back side of the vest. And now here we will put our stitches together with 10 stockinette stitches. We placed our needles for this process. Now we have 64 stitches. We left 21 stitches for one shoulder and 21 stitches for the other shoulder. We will make the cut process for the 22 stitches left for the neck. We tied our knit yarn on the shoulders, and it is easier to make the cut process of those 22 stitches with the help of the crochet needle. We will cut the collar side. Yes, with the help of the crochet needle, we cut the stitches from the neck. We will cut 22 stitches. We cut off these 22 stitches from the neck with the help of a crochet needle. Now we will make 22 rows as stockinette stitch. We will make this in line with our other button-sided frontal. Yes, now here the other shoulder has 10 stitches and one reverse stitch at one side. We continue to knit 10 stitches on the other side again. Yes, we are knitting this stitch as reverse on the flat face. It comes straight on the back, but we take the straight stitch from the bottom as a Thessalonica pattern. Yes, we take it out in the same way by taking the bottom. We now also made 22 rows of stockinette stitches on the shoulder. We start to increase the edge of our separation line, just as we did at the opposite side. And we will increase 16 stitches until reaching a total number of 37 stitches here. Then we will make straight knitting. We move our increased stitches right next to the buttonhole band on the front. Now we start increasing after 22 stockinette stitches. Now after knitting this reverse, we start increasing and continuing knitting normal. We knitted the increased stitches. We knit the separation line as Thessaloniki model. We also knit our buttonhole band as 10 stitches. Now, when we come to flat face while going back while making increasement, we knit our increased stitches by adding them to the side of our increase line in the middle, and we continually move the increased stitches to the edge line. Yes, now we move our stitches which we have increased to the side of the other stitch that we used as the middle line. At this moment we increase 3 stitches, we are increasing the 4th stitch too. So we shift the hem stitches to the side of our vest that will be sewed later. We will increase 16 stitches like this, and after increasing 16 stitches, it will increase to 37 stitches. Then we will continue as stockinette stitch, and we will have 67 rows of stockinette stitches going forward from the shoulder, since the back side has 67 rows of stockinette stitches. We will have a balance. Now we have completed the increasement of the stitches here. We increased 16 stitches. We extended our stitches to the arm side. We moved our stitches to the side of our band. Now we have 37 stitches. Stitches more. So now we will end this way. We opened our buttonholes here in the 29th stockinette stitch. After making 10 and 11 rows of stockinette stitch, we will continue to put our buttonholes. Since we chose blue color, it will be a 0-age boy. You can do it in different colors. We started this by making it as easy as stocking stitches. We started with 64 stitches and we kept one dividing stitch from the middle by separating 10 stitches from the edges. We finished the back side by knitting 67 rows as ornament. We continued to knit by separating the back to 67 rows, from the shoulder to 21 rows of 67 rows. After we had 22 rows of stockinette stitches, we increased one stitch from the side of this separating stitch, and we increased our second stitch again by knitting it from the edge of our separating stitch. We moved our stitches to the inside. We continued our hemstitches on the outside, which means we continued to the edge. After increasing 16 stitches, our total stitch became 37, and after 37 stitches, we continued 37 stitches straight. And our separating stitches continued in the same way. This side was the side where we had our buttonhole band. Now we have to open the buttonholes. Their distance to each other must be equal. While passing to the back side, after finishing the front side, we tied up our knit yarn from here, and then we destroyed it. We cut off 22 stitches of the neck with the help of a crochet needle. We had 21 stitches left. Again, after knitting these 22 stitches as 21 rows in the same way, we started to increase again, and we increased 16 stitches just like the other. We made 37 stitches by this way. We continued in the same way. Since the back side of 67 rows of stockinette stitches forms, we counted from the shoulder and we finished the front side as 67 rows of stitches in stockinette. We put our buttonholes after knitting 11 rows of stockinette stitches. While continuing to the increasement process here, we made our first buttonhole after we made 28 rows of stockinette stitches beginning from neck to shoulder. And we opened our other buttonholes by knitting 11 rows of stockinette stitches. Here, we used a yellow color of the same knit yarn to put a little color. And we colored it a little by applying the shape of the evil eyeball in the middle of our buttons.